Hello, everybody, and welcome to the EduPassions web conference, the 12:30 Eastern Time session. So here with us, we have a fantastic, dynamic presenter, Glenn Cake. So welcome, Glenn.
Good afternoon, everyone. So happy to be here.
All right, fantastic. We're happy to have you here with us. So while Glenn is bringing up his slides, let me read you his bio. Glenn has over 25 years of foreign language teaching experience. He has worked with students of all ages, been a lead electronic teacher with the Center for Distance Learning and Innovation. His accomplishments include CPS Provincial Teacher of the Year Award in 2010. Nationally, he has been involved with the CASLT, which stands for Canadian Association of Second Language Teachers, for the past 8 years. On both levels, he has provided professional training to second language teachers, particularly in the areas of internet resources and software that teachers and students can use to enhance their second language and technology skills. So you can find him on Twitter at gcakey or on his site cdlifrench.wix.com/mcake. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Glenn. So welcome, Glenn.
Glenn, if we can just get you really quick to put it on full screen, your slides.
Okay, you bet. How's that?
Ah, perfect. Much better.
Okay, great. Everyone can see that now, I hope?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Sarah, for the introduction, and thank you, Shelley. And I think we all need to give a big shout out to both Shelley and Sarah for planning this wonderful event. I know it's Saturday, where I'm coming from, Newfoundland, Canada, the East Coast, and it's a long weekend here. So I've been popping in and out of some of the sessions, and they are very top-notch, high-quality sessions. So I hope to share a little something with you today that you might be able to bring back into your classrooms. So I'll just give you a little brief overview of why I am passionate about technology, and certainly integrating it into my French classrooms at the high school level. I actually teach via distance education. So I do not see my students face to face, with the exception of student conferences where I might meet them, or sporting events where they may come to the big city being St. John's, Newfoundland, in the bottom right-hand corner there. And just to give you an idea of the geographic challenges that we have on the east coast of Newfoundland, on the right-hand side you'll see the schools that we service with CDLI, so meaning e-learning for students in these small remote communities throughout eastern Canada. So it's quite exciting, and you know, I'm a teacher, I'm in the trenches, so my goal today is to show you one particular tool that I have found quite useful, and hope that you'll be able to bring it back to your classrooms. Now, as we all know, being involved in technology, there are a variety of super tools out there: Socrative, Kahoot, quizzes. I'm sure many of you are familiar with these, but if you're not, you should certainly check it out. But what I wanted to focus on today was something called Edpuzzle. Okay? Edpuzzle originated in a company in Norway, I believe, and I've got the email addresses of the founders for you to touch base with at the end if you want. Very, very simple to use both as a student and a teacher. So I kind of compare it to, you know, asking anyone if they want to go to a movie. Now, as you know, our students, our kids, my kids, I'm sure your kids as well, are glued to their mobile devices. And what Edpuzzle allows you to do is to create formative assessment via these mobile devices. Okay? So the pictures, I think, speak for themselves there. Is it going to be quiet? Probably not. It's going to be an exciting thing that you can do, obviously, in a flipped classroom format if you want to do it that way, or you could do it in a live face-to-face classroom. Okay, I've tried both. They all work. So it's very, very simple to sign up. I'm not going to get you to sign up just yet. Certainly after the session, if you want to check it out, you should do so. But I do everything via Google, Google Docs, Google Apps for Education, and it's very user-friendly, and even allows you to attach your class once you have your roster of students you can attach that class to your Google Classroom if you wish. So we can take any video we want and make it our lesson. Okay? So I want to go through the features of that. Simply, once you've created your teacher account, you will be given a code whereby you can invite students to join. Okay? So that's how that. The three main features that I like about that is the one I just mentioned. A, students can become members of your classroom, and by becoming members, you see instantaneous results. So when you assign a given activity, you will see the progress of the students at the same time. Secondly, assignments, something we're going to look at a little bit in more depth. A, you can make up your own assignments, find them, and when I say assignment, I mean find a video, create some questions to accompany that video, and then post it for your students to complete. And thirdly, there is a gradebook feature, which allows you to monitor the progress of all your students. Okay, so for example, here are a couple of my classes. CDLI, I teach French at the high school level. And now, obviously, these shells are empty now because I've wiped out everyone from last year, and I'm looking forward, kind of, to starting on Tuesday coming after the long weekend. Very seamless. So I love this picture with the options. The beauty about Edpuzzle is that you can find any video that you want. Obviously, for me as a French teacher, I'm looking for the second language being the target. But if you're doing science or math or anything, find any video you want, and you may find that the video is a little bit too long. It may be 4, 5, 6 minutes. You can even crop that video. Okay? So that's a big feature that you'll see once you join. The crop feature allows you to take a 5-minute video and put it down to 45 seconds if you wish. All right? Another feature that you can do is that you can actually do a voiceover. And not only you, but your students can do a voiceover of any given video that you have found. That's a real neat feature, and I'm going to demonstrate that in a moment. Thirdly, if you want to simply add an audio note, you know, like if you come upon perhaps it's a grammatical structure that you want to focus at, you can pause the video, and students will be required to listen to what it is that you have to say about that particular point. And fourthly, my favorite are the comprehension questions. All right, so there's 3 types of questions you can do. One is a multiple choice, one is an open-ended question or a short answer, or thirdly, you can just type in a fact or clarification. So in this example I have here, you can see it's about 4.5 minutes long, but there are a total of 10 questions in that. All right. Now the beauty about this, if these were all multiple choice questions, when the students complete, you would get the results immediately. The tricky part is if you choose the short answer option, that is something that you as a teacher have to go in to all of the students' assignments that they have submitted and grade that particular feature one by one. So that's a little bit cumbersome. All right. So again, what you will see on your home page, once you create Edpuzzle quizzes, you can set up the due date, you can see the status, you can review the students' results, you can see who's turned it in and who has not. Okay, you can set up a due date and, you know, have students complete, or if they do it late, it's entirely up to you. So there's a lot of features there. All right, so again, just to reiterate, as a teacher, you will see if a student has submitted the assignment. Now, I have an example that I want to show with everyone today, and Shelley and Sarah were kind enough to take some time and go through this with me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go live to an actual Edpuzzle sample that I have here, and I'm hoping everyone can see that. And as you can see, I chose this particular video because, you know, as the school year is starting up, it's early in the year, and one thing that we as teachers are required to do is to remember a number of names. So I found this kind of funny video, and you're going to do it with me. We'll do it together, and you will see how the questions that I submitted there. So let's sit back and enjoy.
So we're not hearing the video. Sorry.
You're not
Okay,
hearing the video.
make it
My
louder.
apologies. Okay, let me try that again.
We're hearing some of it, but make it the loudest it can be.
Okay, Shelley, that's actually the loudest I can do there. So if you had have heard it, you would have seen this. The teacher is actually a substitute teacher who introduced himself as Mr. Garvey. Now, because I selected the correct answer, the background turns green, and we can continue. And let's hope that you can hear that. Got that on bust now, so I'm hearing it loud and clear. My apologies. Let's try the next segment. Okay, so the young lady put up her hand, and Mr. Garvey's looking for Jay Quellen. That's the way he pronounced that name. So as you can see in this one, the correct answer is going to be Jacqueline. And by choosing Jay-Z, that means that that's an incorrect answer. Okay, so as the student goes through this, they actually see all of this. So the third student that he's looking for is Balake. And in this particular question, I actually typed out the answer. So as I mentioned before, you can have the multiple choice or the short answer. So for this one, I had to type out Blake. Okay, and there it is, folks. That's a sample that I wanted to show you. I hope everyone could hear that okay. Are we back on my screens now? Everything okay, Shelley?
We are back on your screen.
All right. And hopefully there'll be some questions from that, but my apologies for the audio there. As you can appreciate, I think this is a super tool to engage students in short videos that you can choose, by the way. You can choose whatever you want, whatever video you want. The results that come back will be immediate. Okay, so you'll see who has watched it, what the particular grade is. Now, this is a fictitious, obviously. Edpuzzle has just come out with a new feature, a premium feature called the Grade Book. But if you apply and touch base with the founders, perhaps you'll be able to get it for free for a month or two to decide whether or not it's something that you want to keep. This is new because for the past 2 years, Edpuzzle has been entirely free of charge. Okay, so the other option I wanted to show you briefly, and I don't think I'm going to show it because of the audio issue, is yes, it's one thing for us as teachers to go out and find something that we want students to watch and to test them on that, but you can also, with Edpuzzle, have students do their own piece of work. Okay, so you can create an assignment whereby students are the ones who are going to go out and find the video on their own, from this selection of video sites that you see on the right-hand side, and then they are going to do their own voiceover and their own questions based on the videos that they create. Now, normally what I do in the second language situation is that I will have a template, and students will come to me with the script and the background video, of course, and we'll analyze that, make sure that that's grammatically functional, and then they'll go ahead and record their voices, and then you can see down here that they can go ahead and share it with the class. Okay, so this could be like a tourism destination ad or commercial, an explanation of analysis of a given point, or maybe even a sporting event. And again, in the target language, I would ask them to do that. If I pop that up there, here's an example from a student who chose a publicity ad on where I come from, Newfoundland, Labrador, and I'll just play that briefly. So as you can see, this student found their own video, and they've created some questions. Que vois-tu? Is it a requin? A shark, un calmar, a squid, or l'océan? So the correct answer being l'océan. And again, another question based on this picture as well. All right, so I just want to give you a little sample over that, and I know my time is winding down here, so we had a look at that. So just to conclude, guys, you know, it's something that you should certainly check out if you get the opportunity. Don't take my word for it. I did some searching on this, and it comes highly recommended from a number of sites throughout the web. So as you can read there on your own, you know, it's a really cool way to try something a little bit different. And as we know, our youth are so connected to their devices. This is a way that we can allow them to connect to their device, but at the same time check for their comprehension of what it is they're watching. Right? So if you have any more questions, I would check with either Axim, I believe his name is, and Quim. They're both accessible at edpuzzle.com. And certainly go ahead and create your own teacher account. I will give one final shout out for one other one that I have really yet to explore, but it's a very similar kind of video quizzing feature by the people of Teachable. They call it the end of passive viewing, and that can be located at visia.co. The neat thing I like about this is that it will create a Google spreadsheet of responses from the students, much like you can access via Kahoot and Quizzes and Socratic. All right, so on that note, that's it for me. Please check out my website, which I'm continually updating as much as possible when I find time, but I don't have a lot of that. And at GKeiki on Twitter, or you can simply send me an email to glencake, 2 N's, at cdli.ca.
Well, thank you so much, Glenn. And the audience did appreciate that they got to learn a little bit of French there. Amy has been so great and has joined us today to go ahead and pay some comments and also some other questions. Most of the questions, though, seem to be about the difference between different quiz platforms. So I know one person was mentioning GoFormative, and I'm not sure if you can answer this, but they wanted to know if GoFormative also integrates well with Google Apps for Education, or is that the reason why you use Edpuzzle, because it doesn't and Edpuzzle does?
Yeah, GoFormative is one that I've explored a little bit, but I still need to do some more research and practice with that one. So that may very well do that feature. At this point in time, I just find that Edpuzzle the quickest and simplest for me, so I continue to use that one. But we'll be exploring Go Formative more this year.
And TP from, or Catherine actually says, students creating their own Edpuzzle, including a voiceover. She has a question on that. So I guess she's wondering if they also do their voiceovers with it. And she says she thinks, by the way, that's a great idea for empowering students. And thanks for the idea, Glenn.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. And yes, so I mean, if the student finds any particular video online that Edpuzzle recognizes, and you saw the list of sites that they're associated with, they can take away the audio or the music, whatever's there, and replace it with their own voiceover. All right, so that's one way to look at it. The second way is another thing that I've done quite a lot of with my students is digital storytelling. So often what I'll do is I'll have students upload their creations that they do in Photo Story or Movie Maker. They'll upload that to YouTube, and then they can import their own video to use with Edpuzzle. So that's another option there as well. I hope that answers the question.
And we have another question that Amy Storr had put in the had copied, which is from Judy Wong. And I know Judy's in New York, and she says, "Do you teach Parisian French, or I cannot pronounce this, Quebec?" I don't know if I probably chopped that up.
No, that was good. A good effort, Shelley, for sure. I should maybe defer this one to Sarah, because Sarah, elle parle français aussi. So actually, Judy, great question. I'm an Anglophone, born an Anglophone, but at age 18 I moved to study French to Saint-Pierre-de-Miquelon, which is just off the coast of Newfoundland, Labrador, and that's a French territory. Following that, I went to Quebec, where I learned some Quebecois. So I guess I would like to think that I teach an international communicative French, so that if my students find themselves in a situation where they have to function in the language, then they can do it in the French that I'm helping them to learn.
And for my personal question, do you find that in, and I've been to Canada a few times, but in Newfoundland, do they get to actually use the French a lot there, or it's more in other areas of Canada?
Yeah, it's mostly, I mean, there are pockets of French population throughout Canada, and there is a small population on the west coast of Newfoundland, but for the most part, Canada being a bilingual country, if you're looking for a job with the, in the airline industry, travel, tourism, the federal government, then the French, it's always nice to play the bilingual card. So as long as you can function in both French and English, then that's a huge asset to have.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. We're going to head over to the Passion Pitch, but that was wonderful. We're just so glad that we got to see you, and you're the first representative from Canada today. So thank you. I think you did very well.
Thanks very much, guys, and give Edpuzzle a shot, and I wish you all the best with that this year and the coming school year.